Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, we welcome you for Chaitanya Charitamrta session, and let's begin with MadhyaLila.
Om Ajnanatirmirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayyam Dadati Svapadantikam.
Vandeham
Shri Guru Shri Uta Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatham Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitam Shah He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhayevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nidhi Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Mukam karoti vachalam pangom langayate girim yat kripatamam vande Shri Guru Dinataranam Paramanandam Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram.
Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya, Jaya Nityananda,
Jaya Dvaita Chandra, Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya, Jaya Nityananda, Jaya Dvaita Chandra, Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya, Jaya Nityananda, Jaya Dvaita Chandra, Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. All glories to Lord Chaitanya, all glories to Lord Nityananda, all glories to Advaita Chandra, and all glories to all the devotees of Lord Chaitanya.
So here we were in MadhyaLila chapter 6 talking about the liberation of Sārvabhauma Bhaṭṭācārya. We have already covered till verse number 215, and today we will get into the last section of this chapter, verse number 216 to 286, where we will see that after the discussion with Chaitanya Mahāprabhu, how Sārvabhauma Bhaṭṭācārya is actually completely transformed into a Vaishnava. So this section title is The New Sārvabhauma Bhaṭṭācārya.
Shloka 216 to 286, the new Sārvabhauma Bhaṭṭācārya.
Ardina Prabhu Gela Jagannath Darshane, Darshan Karila Jagannath Shayothane.
Early the following morning, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went to see Lord Jagannath in the temple, and he saw the Lord rise from his bed. So this was Shayothana. The Lord is being woken up after the night sleep, and that's the time when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went very early to Jagannath temple.
Pujari Aniya Mala Prasadan Dila Prasadan Mala Pana Prabhu Harsha Haila. So it is so easy to please Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. The priest actually gave them the garland and prasadam which has been offered to Jagannath. And This pleased Chaitanya Mahaprabhu very much. So he was very pleased with Jagannath Prasad and the garlands.
And sometimes, if we are fortunate, when we come to ISKCON Chennai temple, we come for morning Mangala Aarti. Sometimes the pujaris will give us the sweet rice that is offered to the Lord just after waking him up. Sei prasadanna mala chal bandhiya Bhaṭṭācārya gare aila tarayuktahana.
Carefully tying the prasadam and garlands in a cloth, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu hastened to the house of Sārvabhauma Bhaṭṭācārya. So he has received this prasadam and garland, and the first person he's thinking of is Sārvabhauma Bhaṭṭācārya. So he's coming to Sārvabhauma's house with these wonderful gifts.
Arunodaya kale haila Prabhu Ragmana Sei kale Bhaṭṭācārya haila jagarna. He arrived at Bhaṭṭācārya's house a little before sunrise, Arunodaya kale, just when Bhaṭṭācārya was arising from bed. Krishna Krishna Sfuta kahi Bhaṭṭācārya jaila Krishna nama shuni Prabhu Ananda Badila.
Krishna, Krishna. This is how Sārvabhauma is waking up. So he's just rising from his bed and he's calling out, Krishna, Krishna. So when we do that, that pleases Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was so pleased. Now this person was changed person. And right from the time he's waking up, he's chanting Krishna's name.
Bahire Prabhu Radeho Paila Darshana Aste Vyaste Asi Kaila Charana Vandana. The Bhaṭṭācārya noticed Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu outside, and with great haste he went to him and offered prayers unto his lotus feet. Vasite asana diya duhita vasila Prasadanna khuli Prabhu tanrahate dila.
The Bhaṭṭācārya offered a carpet for the Lord to sit upon, and both of them sat there. Then Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu opened the prasadam and placed it in the hands of the Bhaṭṭācārya. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is not waiting for Bhaṭṭācārya to go and get ready and then to talk to him.
Or even brush his teeth.
He has just got from his bed, and he also came and immediately offers prayers to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, offers him a carpet to sit, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is giving him the prasadam.
Sadanna pana Bhaṭṭācārya anandhaila Snana sandhya danta dhvava yadyapi na kaila. At that time, the Bhaṭṭācārya had not even washed his mouth, nor had he taken his bath or finished his morning duties. Snan Sandhya Danta Dhavana. Nonetheless, he was very pleased to receive the prasadam of Lord Jagannath. So we see the amazing transformation. Earlier, he was a very strict Vedantist, and now, he just got up from his bed. He saw Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he offered his prayers, and then he offered him a seat, and he's now received the Jagannath prasadam. Chaitanya prasade mane sab jad gela ei shloka pari anna bhakshana karila.
By the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, all the dullness in the mind of Sārvabhauma Bhaṭṭācārya was eradicated. After reciting the following two verses, he ate the prasadam offered to him. So he did not go for cleaning himself, etc. What he does is he recites two verses. So we will read those two verses, what he recites.
And then we understand in what mood he honored Jagannath Prasad. Suksham prayushitam vapi nitam vadura deshataha Prapti matrena bhoktavyam natra kala vicharana. The Bhaṭṭācārya said, one should eat the Mahaprasadam of the Lord immediately upon receiving it, even though it is dried up, stale, or brought from a distant country. One should consider neither time nor place. So these two verses are from Padma Purana, and Bhaṭṭācārya, because he is a great scholar and now a great devotee, he is placing everything in the right context. So he is giving the reason that one must immediately honor and eat Mahaprasadam, even if it is sukshmam, even if it's dried up, or if it is old or stale, or if it has come from some distant place, we should not consider, it is a good time, not a good time, it's early morning, late night, whenever one gets, one should immediately honor Mahaprasadam upon receiving it.
न देशा नियमस्तत्र न काला नियमस्तथा प्राप्तम् अन्नं द्रुतं सृष्टैः भोक्तव्यं हरिरब्रवीत्. The prasadam of Lord Krishna is to be eaten by gentlemen as soon as it is received. There should be no hesitation. There are no regulator principles concerning time and place. This is the order of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So Mahaprasadam is eaten immediately or honored immediately the moment we receive, irrespective of our position, our condition, our external condition, our impurity, purity, whatever, prasadam has to be honored immediately. देखी आनंदिता होइला महाप्रभु मना
प्रेम विष्टहाना प्रभु kaila alingana. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was very pleased to see this. He became ecstatic in love of God and embraced Sārvabhauma Bhaṭṭācārya. Now Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had taken bath, he went to had darshan of the Lord, and here Sārvabhauma Bhaṭṭācārya had not even taken bath, but Chaitanya Mahaprabhu became so pleased by the behavior of Sārvabhauma Bhaṭṭācārya that he embraced him. विजनिधरि दोहे करे ननतना प्रभु भृत्य दोहा स्पर्शे दोहार फूले मना.
The Lord and the servant embraced each other and began to dance. Simply by touching each other, they became ecstatic.
So that is how Krishna consciousness is Kevala Ananda Kanda, only bliss and more bliss and more bliss.
स्वेदकंप अश्रु दोहे
आनंदे भासीला प्रेम विष्टहाना प्रभु कहिते लगिला.
As they danced and embraced, spiritual symptoms manifested in their bodies. They perspired, trembled, and shed tears. And the Lord began to speak in his ecstasy. So now the Lord is very, very, very happy. He's delighted. And why is he happy? Why he is suddenly experiencing so much of ecstasy? Lord is going to speak about it.
Jimuni anayase jininu tribhuvane Ajimuni karinu vaikunta arohana. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, today I have conquered the three worlds very easily. Today I have ascended to the spiritual world. So Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is in ecstasy, Sārvabhauma Bhaṭṭācārya is in ecstasy. And why? Because Sārvabhauma Bhaṭṭācārya has accepted the bhakti, has accepted bhakti to the Supreme Lord, devotional service as the highest, and he has completely transformed, and that transformation is visible in front of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is also so ecstatic, and he's saying, out of that bliss, he's saying that today I have conquered the three worlds very easily. Tribhuvan Nath, Tribhuvane. And he's saying that I have ascended Vaikunta Arohan. I have ascended to Vaikunta, spiritual world, Vaikunta. So this much happiness Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has received by seeing the change and transformation in the new Sārvabhauma Bhaṭṭācārya. Aji mora purna haila sarva abhilasha Sārvabhaumer haila maha prasade vishwasa.
Chaitanya Mahaprabhu continued, I think that today all my desires have been fulfilled because I see that Sārvabhauma Bhaṭṭācārya has acquired faith in the Mahaprasadam of Lord Jagannath. So, though for so many years Sārvabhauma Bhaṭṭācārya was there in Jagannath Puri, and he was going for the darshan of Jagannath also daily, and he was feeding others also Jagannath Prasadam, and he was eating or honoring Jagannath Prasadam. But today, the whole thing is different because everything is happening with absolute faith today. Because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's verdict, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's conversation, and Sārvabhauma Bhaṭṭācārya's Mayavadi mindset is completely transformed, And that is what is giving Chaitanya Mahaprabhu so much of happiness.
Aji tumi nishkapate haila Krishna Shraya. Krishna aji nishkapate toma haila sadhya. Indeed, today you have undoubtedly taken shelter of the lotus feet of Krishna. And Krishna, without reservation, has become very merciful towards you. So, nishkapat, this word is so important that unreservedly, undoubtedly, Sārvabhauma Bhaṭṭācārya has taken the shelter of lotus feet of Krishna. So, he has no reservations, he has no doubt, and wholeheartedly and without any misgivings, he has taken the shelter of the Lord, and therefore Krishna has also reciprocated accordingly, has become very merciful to him.
Aji se khandila toma dehadi bandhana,
Aji tumi chinna kaile mayara bandhana.
My dear Bhaṭṭācārya, today you have been released from material bondage of the bodily conception of life. You have cut to pieces the shackles of the illusory energy. So till today, though you were such a scholar, though you had studied so much of Vedanta, but still you were covered by illusion. But now, today, this new Sārvabhauma Bhaṭṭācārya, he is free of that bondage. There is no illusory energy and he can see Krishna as Krishna is.
Which means Bhaṭṭācārya has surpassed liberation. Ji Krishna Prapti Yogya Haila Tomar Mana Veda Dharma Langi Kaile Prasada Vakshana. Today your mind has become fit to take shelter of the lotus feet of Krishna, because surpassing the Vedic regulative principles, you have eaten the remnants of food offered to the Lord. So Lord noticed that he has not followed all those morning rituals, and he has given more importance to the Mahaprasadam of the Lord. And that is the turning point that is the application of all that Sārvabhauma Bhaṭṭācārya had heard from the Lord. Now he has understood the greatness, the absolute greatness of the Lord and absolute greatness of Mahaprasadam.
Yesham sa esha bhagavan dayayed anantah
Sarvatmanashrita pado yadi nirvayalikam te dushtaramati cha deva mayam naishamamaham iti disva shrigala bhakshaye.
When a person takes shelter of the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead without reservation, means no condition, without any condition, without anything which is stopping, complete shelter, the unlimited merciful Lord bestows his causeless mercy upon him. Thus he can surpass over the insurmountable ocean of Nishayans, those whose intelligence is fixed in the bodily conception, who think I am this body, are fit food for dogs and jackals. The Supreme Lord never bestows his mercy upon such people. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is so very happy, and now he is quoting from scriptures, and he is saying that what is the result of a person who takes the shelter of the Supreme Lord without any reservation, who does not keep any condition that Krishna, if you provide me this, then I am yours. He does not keep any condition, unconditionally. No asterisk, no conditions apply. Complete surrender to Krishna. So what happens to such a person? The Lord bestows his mercy, and his mercy comes in the form of crossing this ocean of Nishayan. So we are all living in ignorance. We all believe that we are the body. Even if we speak that we are not the body, still we act as if we are the body. So Krishna is telling, or Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is quoting here and telling that if we take shelter of the Supreme Lord, then we can cross over all this ignorance or Nishayans.
Eta kahi Mahaprabhu aila nijasthane Sei haite Bhaṭṭācārya khandila abhimane. After speaking to Sārvabhauma Bhaṭṭācārya in this way, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu returned to his residence. From that day on, the Bhaṭṭācārya was free because his false pride had been dismantled. So here we see that all the false pride with Bhaṭṭācārya had, that I know the scriptures, I can teach, I must teach this young sannyasi, I must help him protect his ashram. And others are saying, no, he is not just an ordinary sannyasi, he is the Supreme Lord himself. How can I accept he is Supreme Lord? So much of false pride he had because of his knowledge and scholarly background. But now he is free from all that. He has become a humble servant of the Lord and his devotees.
Chaitanya Charana Vine Nahi Jane Ana Bhakti Vinu Shastre Rara Na Kare Vyakhana. From that day on, Sārvabhauma Bhaṭṭācārya did not know anything but the lotus feet of Lord Caitanya Mahāprabhu. And from that day, he could explain the revealed scriptures only in accordance with the process of devotional service. So much transformation has happened in Sārvabhauma Bhaṭṭācārya, and we will see in the upcoming chapters also, like how this devotional service, he has understood that devotional service is the essence and is the process. So he is completely changed now. Gopinathacharya Tanra Vaishnavata Dekhiya Hari Hari Bali Nache Hate Tali Diya.
Seeing that Sārvabhauma Bhaṭṭācārya was firmly fixed in the cult of Vaishnavism, Gopinath Acharya, his brother-in-law, began to dance, clap his hands and chant Hari Hari. So he became so happy, Gopinath Acharya, because he was, if you remember the conversation, there was a long conversation between Gopinath Acharya and Sārvabhauma Bhaṭṭācārya and his disciples. So there's a long conversation between the two of them. And Gopinath Acharya actually did not see any hope in Sārvabhauma Bhaṭṭācārya changing himself or changing his views. But he saw that now, because he has received the grace of Chaitanya Mahāprabhu, he is completely transformed, he has become a Vaishnava devotee. So he was so happy, and this happiness he expressed as in dancing and clapping his hands and chanting Hari Hari. Dina Bhaṭṭācārya aila darshane, Jagannath na dekhi aila Prabhu sthane.
The next day, the Bhaṭṭācārya went to visit the temple of Lord Jagannath, but before he reached the temple, he went to see Chaitanya Mahāprabhu.
Dandavat kari kaila bahu veda stuti, Danya kari kahe nija purvadodmati. When he met Lord Chaitanya Mahāprabhu, the Bhaṭṭācārya fell down flat to offer him respects. After offering various prayers to him, he spoke of his previous bad disposition with great humility. So Sārvabhauma Bhaṭṭācārya was feeling very guilty, and now he could understand that what offensive position he had, offensive situation he was situated because of his philosophical conviction, Mayavadi philosophical conviction. So he was offering prayers to the Chaitanya Mahāprabhu and begging his forgiveness and offering him prayers in great humility. Bhakti sadhan shrestha shunite kaila mana, Prabhu upadesha kaila nama sankirtana.
Then the Bhaṭṭācārya asked Chaitanya Mahāprabhu, which item is most important in the execution of devotional service? The Lord replied that the most important item was the chanting of the holy name of the Lord.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Nam, Namaiva Kevalam, Kalau Nasteva Gatir Anyatha. In this age of quarrel and hypocrisy, the only means of deliverance is the chanting of the holy names of the Lord. There is no other way. There is no other way. There is no other way. So Kali Yuga is the age of quarrel and hypocrisy, and we can see it daily. If you look at newspaper, if you talk to your friends and relatives, or if you be in a family situation, every day there is some quarrel and the world is covered with hypocrisy. The only means of deliverance here is Harer Nam, Harer Nam, Harer Nam. 3 times it's repeated. There is no other way, no other way, no other way. So why there is so much of repetition? For emphasis. Shuni Bhaṭṭācārya mane haila chamatkara.
Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu very elaborately explained the Hare Nam verse of the Brihad Naradiya Puran, and Sārvabhauma Bhaṭṭācārya was struck with wonder to hear his explanation.
Gopinathacharya bale ami purve ye kahila, Shuna Bhaṭṭācārya tomar seita haila. Gopinathacharya reminded Sārvabhauma Bhaṭṭācārya, my dear Bhaṭṭācārya, what I foretold to you how has now taken place. What I told you earlier has now happened. Bhaṭṭācārya kahe tanre kari namaskare, Tomar sambandhe Prabhu kripa kaila more.
So, in complete humility, Sārvabhauma Bhaṭṭācārya is replying back to Gopinathacharya that because I am related to you and you are a devotee, by your mercy, the Lord has shown mercy to me. So we remember like a couple of sessions back when Sārvabhauma and Gopinathacharya were having this discussion, and Gopinathacharya was telling that how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the Supreme Lord. Then Bhaṭṭācārya, and more than Bhaṭṭācārya, his disciples were asking questions that from which scripture you are talking and what is the evidence. And now he has completely changed so much so that he is giving the credit to Gopinathacharya, that because you are devotee and you are dear to the Lord, so because of that, I have also received some mercy. Tumi Mahabhagavatami Ande
Prabhu kripa kaila more tomara sambandhe. You are a first class devotee. You are Mahabhagavat. Whereas I am in the darkness of logical arguments. Tarka andhe. So just this logic, tark, has made me blind. I was in the blindness of or the darkness of logical arguments, but you are Mahabhagavat. Because of your relationship with the Lord has bestowed his benediction upon me. So you are a very dear devotee of the Lord, and whomever you give mercy to, so Lord will be very merciful to that person, and that's how I have received the benediction.
Vinashunitushte Prabhu Kaila Alingana Kahila Yana Karaha Ishvara Darshana. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was very pleased with his humble statement. After embracing the Bhaṭṭācārya, he said, now go see Lord Jagannath in the temple. So there are various things which we are hearing today, what is pleasing to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu saw that Bhaṭṭācārya did not really got into the Vedic injunctions but honored Jagannath Prasad, gave the most importance to Jagannath Prasad, that was very pleased. When he saw that Sārvabhauma Bhaṭṭācārya was completely transformed and got up saying Krishna Krishna, that was very pleasing to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And now here the humility of Sārvabhauma Bhaṭṭācārya is very pleasing to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Jagadananda Damodara Doi Sangilana Ghare Aila Bhaṭṭācārya Jagannath kiya.
After visiting the temple of Lord Jagannath, Sārvabhauma Bhaṭṭācārya returned home with Jagadananda and Damodar.
Uttam Uttam Prasad Bahuta Anila Nija Viprahate Dui Jana Sangedila. The Bhaṭṭācārya brought large quantities of excellent food remnants blessed by Lord Jagannath. All this prasadam was given to his own Brahman servant along with Jagdanand and Damodar.
Vairagya Vidya Nija Bhakti Yoga Siksharthakam Ekah Purusha Purana Shri Krishna Chaitanya Shariradhari Kripam Budhiryastamaham Prapadye. Let me take shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead Sri Krishna, who has descended in the form of Lord Caitanya Mahāprabhu to teach us real knowledge. His devotional service and detachment from whatever does not foster Krishna consciousness. He has descended because he is an ocean of transcendental mercy. Let me surrender unto his lotus feet. So these are the two verses which are compiled by Sārvabhauma Bhaṭṭācārya. So what he does, he takes the palm leaf and he writes down these two verses, and along with this prasadam which has come from Jagannath temple, he sends these two verses also to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu for him to read. And what is the meaning of these two verses? So here Sārvabhauma Bhaṭṭācārya is offering his, he is praying that, Lord, let me take shelter of you who has descended, let me take shelter of you, O Lord Krishna, who has descended in the form of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. For what purpose? To teach real knowledge, his devotional service and detachment from whatever does not foster Krishna consciousness. So three things. One, to give us real knowledge, the Sambandha, Abhidheya and Prayojan, and to engage in devotional service and develop complete detachment with whatever is not favorable to Krishna consciousness. He has descended because he is an ocean of transcendental mercy. So we understand that Krishna spoke Bhagavad Gita on the battlefield and he told Arjuna, surrender unto me. So he gave an order to Arjuna, you surrender, become my devotee. Man mana bhava mad bhakto, you become my devotee. So Krishna gave instructions. And then, there are so many people who did not take up his instruction. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came. So Lord came again as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to instruct how to surrender and how to become devotee of the Lord. So that is why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is considered to be even more merciful than Krishna.
Kalanashtam bhakti yogam nijam ya
pradush kratum Krishna Chaitanya nama avirbhutastasya padarvinde gadham gadham liyatam chitta bringa.
Let my consciousness, which is like a honeybee, take shelter of the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who has just now appeared as Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to teach the ancient system of devotional service to himself. This system had almost been lost due to the influence of time. This is such a beautiful verse glorifying Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, stating what is the purpose of his advent and how can we perfect our life by connecting ourselves to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So the main purpose is to revive the devotional service.
So we understand that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Krishna is, Krishna is Supreme Lord, scriptures openly declare, but Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is a covered incarnation. He is a, he's disguised incarnation. Although he is disguised, but his appearance is mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam. His Lord Chaitanya's appearance is mentioned in Mahabharata also, and other Vedic scriptures it is mentioned. So why is Lord come as disguised? Because he wanted to teach by his personal example. The Lord came as his own devotee, so that we understand that is what is mentioned here, to teach the ancient system of devotion to himself. So Lord came to teach this forgotten ancient system of Bhakti Yoga to himself, to the Supreme Lord. Idui shloka bhakta kanthe ratnahara Sārvabhauma kiti ghoshe dakavadyakara. These two verses composed by Sārvabhauma Bhaṭṭācārya will always declare his name and fame as loudly as a pounding drum, for they have become pearl necklaces around the necks of all devotees. So what had happened is, when these two verses were brought to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, before the verses could be presented to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Mukund Datta took these, the palm leaves, and he wrote these verses on the wall outside. So he wrote these two verses outside on the wall, and then he gave back these palm leaves and then they were shown to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu read these two verses, now we can understand, see, what is the mood of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? He is the Supreme Lord, but he is in the mood of his devotee. So when somebody is glorifying him that he is the Supreme Lord, so he did not like it. He did not like means he just tore off that so that others don't read this verse. But then by the time the verses were already on the wall and all devotees had read that verse and they memorized that verse. And that is what is mentioned here, that the devotees remembered these verses like pearl necklaces around their necks.
Sārvabhauma haila prabhur bhakta iktana
Mahaprabhu seva vina nahi jane ana.
Indeed, Sārvabhauma Bhaṭṭācārya became an unalloyed devotee of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He did not know anything but the service of the Lord. Actually, we will see that in upcoming chapters how dear Sārvabhauma has become to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu by his humility, by his devotional service. Like when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wants to go to Vrindavan, he will come and he would seek permission from Sārvabhauma Bhaṭṭācārya. And Sārvabhauma Bhaṭṭācārya would say no, and then Mahaprabhu would not go. So like whatever he would say, Mahaprabhu would try to follow the advices, the suggestions of Sārvabhauma Bhaṭṭācārya. He was very, very dear to Mahaprabhu. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Shachi
Shuta Guna Dhama E Dhyana E Japa Laya E Nama. So what was Bhaṭṭācārya doing? The Bhaṭṭācārya always chanted the holy names of Krishna. E Japa. Shri Krishna Chaitanya, the holy names of Shri Krishna Chaitanya, mother of Shachi, Shachi Suta, the reservoir of all good qualities, Guna Dhama. So this is what he was always chanting. A Dhyan, this is what he was meditating upon. A Japa, these are the names he would chant. Day Nam. So this was became life of Sārvabhauma Bhaṭṭācārya. Ekadina Sārvabhauma Prabhu Aage Aila Namaskar Kari Shloka Padite Lagila.
One day Sārvabhauma Bhaṭṭācārya came before Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and after offering obeisances began to recite a verse. Bhagvatera Brahmastavera Shloka Padila Shloka Shesha Dui Akshar Patha Peraila.
He began to quote one of the Lord Brahma's prayers from Srimad Bhagavatam, but he changed two syllables at the end of the verse. So Sārvabhauma Bhaṭṭācārya came very knowledgeable. He quoted a verse from Srimad Bhagavatam, but he changed two syllables. He changed two syllables. One word he changed from the original verse from Srimad Bhagavatam. So this particular verse was being offered as a prayer by Lord Brahma to Krishna. Nukampam susamikshamano Bhunjane vatma kritam vipakam Hridvagvapurbi vidadhan namaste Jive tayo bhakti pade sadai bhak.
So this is a very, very, very important verse from Srimad Bhagavatam. It talks about how a devotee can actually become eligible or qualified or a bona fide candidate for perfection. So the verse says, one who seeks your compassion and thus tolerates all kinds of adverse conditions due to the karma of his past deeds, who engages always in your devotional service with his mind, words and body, and who always offers obeisances unto you, is certainly a bona fide candidate for becoming your unalloyed devotee. So here if we see in the last line, Jiveta yo bhakti pade sadai bhag. This is what Sārvabhauma spoke. But actually if we read Srimad Bhagavatam, then the word there is mukti pade. So that mukti has been changed by bhakti by Sārvabhauma Bhaṭṭācārya. So here Lord Brahma is offering this prayer and he is telling about the qualification of a person. So what all that person is doing. So the person who actually seeks the mercy or the compassion of the Supreme Lord, and simultaneously he tolerates whatever life is throwing upon us. Sometimes we become very perturbed, a little difficulty, and then we start questioning, why Krishna, why me? Why is this happening to me? So here Brahmaji is talking about that person who does not become perplexed in any difficult moment. Why? Because he understands that whatever is happening to him is a result of his past karma. So I have done and I am getting that result. So whatever comes to me, I tolerate that, and I am always engaged in devotional service with my mind, body, and words, and who always worships Krishna. So such a person becomes qualified for devotional service.
प्रभु कहे मुक्ति पदे यह पाठ आया, भक्ति पद के न पढ़ाई तुम्हारा श्रेया. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he did not approve of this. Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu immediately pointed out, in that verse, the word is Mukti Pade, but you have changed it to Bhakti Pade. What is your intention?
Bhaṭṭācārya kahe bhakti samana hai mukti phala, Bhagavad bhakti vimukhira hai danda kevala. Sārvabhauma Bhaṭṭācārya replied, the awakening of pure love of Godhead, which is a result of devotional service, far surpasses liberation from material bondage. For those averse to devotional service, merging into Brahma effulgence is a kind of punishment. So now Bhaṭṭācārya, Sārvabhauma Bhaṭṭācārya is giving the difference between bhakti and mukti. He is telling that mukti is actually liberation from material misery. So we all are suffering, and if we just require mukti, which means that these material suffering ceases, but it does not establish any relationship with Krishna. It does not give an active exchange with Krishna. And because that does not happen, so mukti does not give any type of happiness. It is just that whatever problems are there, the problems cease to exist. But that is not giving any happiness. So he is telling that for those people who are following the path of devotional service, for them mukti means merging in the Brahma effulgence. So mukti is like a punishment. So that is why Sārvabhauma is saying, that is why I have changed the word from mukti to bhakti. Krishnera vigraha ye
सत्य नाही माने, ये निंदा युद्धाधिका करे तान रसाने, से दुईर दंड है ब्रह्म सायुज्य मुक्ति, तार मुक्ति फल नहीं ये करे भक्ति. The Bhaṭṭācārya continued, the impersonalists who do not accept the transcendental form of Lord Shri Krishna, and the demons who are always engaged in blaspheming and fighting with him, are punished by being merged into the Brahman effulgence. But that does not happen to the persons engaged in the devotional service of the Lord. So what are the kind of people who try to merge with the Brahman effulgence? What are the kind of people who attain bhakti? So there are two types of people. One, impersonalist, who do not accept the form of Lord. They say supreme power, this, that, but they do not accept the form of the Lord. Second, the demons, who are always criticizing the Lord, always fighting with the Lord. So these two types of, and they are killed by the Lord. So they are the ones who attain mukti, or they go to the Brahman effulgence. Now, this is, the mukti is given to them as a punishment, because whatever the Lord does, Lord is always benefiting the individual souls. But the impersonalists, they do not want the personal form of the Lord. So where they can go? So they don't want to remain in the material world. They don't want to engage in Lord service. So where they can go? The only place that they can go is the Brahman effulgence. So Lord places them there. And what about the demons? Demons are fighting with the Lord. In the process, they become purified. So Lord gives them also mukti. Now, they do not have any favorable affection for the Lord. So very difficult for them to go in the spiritual world. They don't want to be with him. So there also are given the place in the Brahman effulgence. So this is actually a punishment for living entities. Although they have received freedom from material problems, but there is no active spiritual engagement, which is actually condensed bliss. So this is what Bhaṭṭācārya is explaining, and he's saying, but for devotees, they do not get mukti. This does not happen to the devotees.
Yadyapi se mukti haya pancha prakara salokya samipya sarup sashti sayujara. So now Sārvabhauma is talking about that there are 5 types of liberation. So these 5 types are Salokya, Samipya, Sarupya, Sarshti and Sayujya.
So,
And when we talk about liberation, generally it refers to Sayujya. So Sayujya means merging in the Supreme Lord or merging in the effulgence of the Supreme Lord. And such mukti or such liberation, because when one merges in the Brahma Jyoti, so that time also there is no miserable condition. But then, as Prabhu was saying, there is no active engagement also in devotional service. So this particular type of liberation or mukti, sayujya, is not really what the devotee looks forward to.
and these other types of mukti, Salokya means attaining the same planet as that of the Lord, the abode of the Lord. Samipya means becoming an associate of the Lord, being in proximity of the Lord. Sarupya means attaining the four-handed Chaturbhuj form as that of the Lord. Sashti means attaining the same opulence as that of the Lord. So these are the different kinds of liberation which are available. But the worst or the most punishing of all kinds of liberation is Sayujya.
Salokyadi yadi haya seva dvara tabu kadachit bhakta kare angikara. If there is a chance to serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead, a pure devotee sometimes accepts the Salokya, Sarupya, Samipya or Sashti form of liberation, but never Sayujya. So there is some opportunity maybe to serve the Supreme Lord in Salokya, Sarupya, Samipya or Sashti. But in Sayujya it is not there because one merges in the Supreme the Brahma effulgence. So the devotee of the Lord never ever wants to have this type of mukti.
Actually, merging in the effulgence of the Lord happens because of committing offense against devotional service of the Lord or offense against bhakti.
Sayujya bhakti haya grena vaya naraka vanchaya tabu sayujya nalaya.
A pure devotee does not like even to hear about Sayujya Bhakti. The pure devotee does not even want to hear, which inspires him with fear and hatred. So this is something which devotees don't like. Indeed, the pure devotee would rather go to hell than merge into the effulgence of the Lord. So the devotee's life is dedicated to the service of the Lord. Love and affection, and out of that he wants to serve the Lord endlessly, eternally. And what the Sayuj does? It stops. No Lord, no service, what to do? So that's why the devotees hate it and devotees fear it. That this is something which I don't want. I'm okay being in the material world. I'm okay even being in hellish planets. No problem. I can continue my bhakti there also. But I don't want Sayujya Mukti. I don't want to merge in the effulgence of the Lord. It is worse than hell for them.
ब्रह्मेश्वर सायुज्य दुहित प्रकारा ब्रह्म सायुज्यते ईश्वर सायुज्य धिक्कारा. The Bhaṭṭācārya continued, there are 2 kinds of Sayujya Mukti, merging into the Brahma effulgence and merging into the personal body of the Lord. Merging into the Lord's body is even more abominable than merging into his effulgence. So when we talk about Shishupal, actually, Shishupal was personally killed by Krishna, and that is how he merged into the body of the Supreme Lord. So that is mentioned here that even in Sayujya, so see, till today or before reading Prabhupada books and the scriptures carefully, we would just know that, okay, Mukti means liberation and liberation means merging, Atma Paramatma becoming one. But here so much detailed description is there that there are 5 types of liberation, and out of these 5 types, the worst is Sayuj, and in Sayuj there are 2 types. One is merging in Brahma effulgence and other is merging in the body of the Lord, and the worst type of liberation is merging in the body of the Lord. Even hellish planets are better than that. Salokya Sashti Samipya Sarupyaikavam Apiyuta Diyamanam na grihananti vinamatsevanam janaha.
Sārvabhauma Bhaṭṭācārya concluded, even though He is offered all kinds of liberation. The pure devotee does not accept them. He is fully satisfied engaging in the service of the Lord. So there is so much of higher taste. It is explained that if we are in desert, dry, hot, and we become very, very thirsty, that is the situation of this material world. So in that situation, if somebody gives us a drop of water, that is like the happiness of Sayuji Mukti. So that is the liberation, a drop of water in dry desert. So therefore, the devotees are not interested in Sayuji Mukti.
प्रभु कहे मुक्ति पदेरा अर्थ होया मुक्ति पद शब्दे साक्षात ईश्वर कहया. Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu replied, the word Mukti Pade has another meaning. Mukti Pad directly refers to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So Mahaprabhu is telling that in the verse from Srimad Bhagavatam 10th canto 14th chapter verse number 8 which he has quoted. So Mahaprabhu is telling that there that Mukti Pad has another meaning also.
Actually, it refers to the Supreme Lord himself.
Mukti Pade Yanrase Mukti Pada Haya Kimva Nava Vadartha Mukti Rasamashraya.
All kinds of liberations exist under the feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, he is known as Mukti Pada. Mukti Pada Yanra Sei Mukti Pada Haya. All kinds of liberation, these 5 kinds of liberation exist under the lotus feet of the Lord. And therefore, he is known as Mukti Pada, whose lotus feet award Mukti. Mukti Pada, name of the Lord. According to another meaning, Mukti is the 9th subject and the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the shelter of liberation. So if you read Srimad Bhagavatam, the 9th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam explains different kinds of liberation. And 10th canto explains or describes the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the shelter of this liberation. So Mukti Pada therefore has 2 meanings and it describes the Lord in 2 ways.
दुई अर्थ कृष्ण कही केने पाठ फिरी सर्वभौम कहे ओ पाठ कही ते न पारी. Since I can understand Krishna according to these 2 meanings, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, what point is there in changing the verse? Sārvabhauma Bhaṭṭācārya replied, I was not able to give that reading to the verse. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu like this in day-to-day dealings also would prove that how he is Krishna himself. He could actually make Sārvabhauma Bhaṭṭācārya understand different meanings from different verses.
This also gives us a very important lesson that we do not have the authority, or despite how much ever we learn Sanskrit or the scriptures, we don't have the authority to change the words of the scriptures. If there is something which we don't understand, we can always approach a proper authority, a proper teacher, bona fide guru. We can approach and we can ask and seek clarification rather than changing the words of scripture. So that is something which has not been approved by Lord Chaitanya.
यद्यपि तुम्हारा अर्थ इस शब्द कया तथापि आशीष दोषे कहन नया. Although your explanation is correct, it should not be used because there is ambiguity in the word Muktipad.
So this is what Sārvabhauma Bhaṭṭācārya is responding to Lord Chaitanya.
यद्यपि मुक्ति शब्देरा पंचवृत्ति रूढ़ि वृत्ति कहे तबु सायुज्य प्रतीति.
The word mukti refers to 5 kinds of liberation, but its direct meaning usually conveys the idea of becoming one with the Lord. So Sārvabhauma Bhaṭṭācārya, he is making that point that Mukti Pada doesn't, all these explanations are nice, but usually Mukti refers to liberation. And usually people understand it as Sayuji Mukti. So, that's why he is not comfortable with that word.
Mukti shabd kahite mane haya grana trasa. Bhakti shabd kahite mane hayata ullasa. The very sound of the word mukti immediately induces hate and fear. But when we say the word bhakti, we naturally feel transcendental bliss within the mind. So now, Sārvabhauma, this is how much he has changed. Till previous day, all he was talking about is mukti. And mukti is perfection. And now he is telling that the word mukti itself induces hate and fear, ghrina, tras. And he's saying, and the word bhakti brings so much of ullas.
दुनिया हसेना प्रभु आनंदित माने भट्टाचार्य कैला प्रभु दृढ़ आलिंगने. Upon hearing this explanation, the Lord began to laugh and with great pleasure immediately embraced Sārvabhauma Bhaṭṭācārya very firmly. So this gives so much of pleasure to the Lord. भट्टाचार्य पदे पढ़ाई माया बाधे तांड्र आयचे वाक्य सूरे चैतन्य प्रसादे.
So this is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's prasad. This is his mercy. What is that mercy? Indeed, that very person who had been accustomed to reading and teaching Mayavad philosophy was now even hating the word mukti. This was possible only by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mercy. लोहा के यावत्
स्पर्शी हे मनाहि करे ताव स्पर्श मणि के हा चीनीते न पारे. As long as it does not turn iron into gold by its touch, no one can recognize an unknown stone to be a touchstone. So there may be many stones and one of them may be a touchstone, but who knows? Everything looks like a stone unless the stone touches the iron and converts it into gold. Then, we can, oh, this is not an ordinary stone, it's a touchstone. And similarly, Bhaṭṭācārya Vaishnavata dekhi sarva jana Prabhu ke janila sakshat Vrajendra Nandana.
Upon seeing transcendental Vaishnavism in Sārvabhauma Bhaṭṭācārya, everyone could understand that Lord Chaitanya was none other than Krishna, the son of Nanda Maharaj. So because he transformed Sārvabhauma Bhaṭṭācārya to such a degree, to like directly from a Mayavadi to a top class Vaishnav, they could actually, everybody understood that this personality is Krishna himself.
काशी मिश्र आदियता नीलाचल वासी शरण लैला सब प्रभु पदे आसी. After this incident, all the inhabitants of Jagannath Puri, headed by Kashi Mishra, came to take shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord Chaitanya. सब कथा आगे करी वर्णना सर्वभौम करे यैचे प्रभु रसेवना.
Later I shall describe how Sārvabhauma Bhaṭṭācārya always engaged in the service of the Lord.
यैचे प्रतिपाटी करे भिक्षा निर्वहना विस्तारी आगे ताहा करी वर्णना. I shall now describe in full detail how Sārvabhauma Bhaṭṭācārya perfectly rendered service to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu by offering him alms. So all these pastimes will come in later chapters. Mahaprabhu lila Sārvabhauma milana iha yehi shraddha kari karaye shravana jnana karma pasha haite haya vimochana Achire milaye tanre Chaitanya Charana.
So this is the Falstuti or the result. Benediction. If one hears with faith and love these pastimes concerning Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's meeting with Sārvabhauma Bhaṭṭācārya, he is very soon freed from the net of speculation and fruitive activity and attains the shelter of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's lotus feet. So just like Sārvabhauma Bhaṭṭācārya left this speculation and fruitive activity, similarly, anyone who faithfully hears this attains Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's lotus feet.
Shri Rupa Raghunath Pade Yar Asha Chaitanya Charitamrta Kahe Krishna Dasa. Praying at the lotus feet of Shri Rupa and Shri Raghunath, always desiring their mercy, I, Krishna Das, narrate Shri Chaitanya Charitamrta, following in their footsteps. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Chaitanya Charitamrita ki jai, Krishnadas Kaviraj ki jai.
Hare Krishna.